I wasn't snooping. I was looking for my car keys. My wife's purse was on the kitchen counter, half open, and I saw something white sticking out of the side pocket. I pulled it out. A hotel key card. Hampton Inn, exit 47. Weird, I thought. We hadn't stayed at a hotel in months. Then I saw another one behind it. Same hotel, same logo. I pulled them both out and held them up to the light. Room 314, both of them. My stomach dropped. I reached back into the pocket. 3 more cards, all Hampton Inn, all room 314. I flipped them over. On the back of each one, written in faint pen, was a date. March 7th, March 14th, March 21st, March 28th, April 4th. Every single one was a Thursday. My hands started shaking. I pulled out my phone and opened the calendar. Thursdays, the day my wife Lauren had her book club. The book club she'd been going to religiously for the last 3 months. The book club where she always came home smelling like wine and looking different. I stood there in my kitchen holding 5 hotel key cards and felt my entire world tilt sideways. Then I did something I'd never done before. I called the hotel. "Hampton Inn, how can I help you?" "Hi," I said, voice steady despite the storm in my chest. "I think I left something in room 314. Is that room available tonight?" A pause. Typing. "Room 314 is actually reserved for tonight, sir. It's a standing weekly reservation." My throat went dry. Standing reservation? "Yes, sir. Every Thursday evening. Same guest. Would you like me to leave a message?" I hung up. Standing reservation. Every Thursday. For 3 months? I looked at the key cards in my hand and made a decision. Tonight was Thursday, and I was going to be in that hallway when she opened that door. If you want to know what I found in room 314, hit subscribe, because what was waiting behind that door wasn't just my wife. It was the truth I'd been too blind to see. My name is Nathan Cross. I'm 39 years old, and I live in a suburb outside Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a systems analyst for a mid-sized insurance company. I work from home 3 days a week, go into the office 2 days, and live a life so routine you could set your watch by it. Wake up at 6:30, coffee, emails, lunch at noon, dinner at 7, bed by 11. My wife Lauren is a physical therapist. She works at a clinic about 20 minutes from our house, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We've been married for 11 years. No kids. We tried for a while, but it didn't happen, and eventually we just stopped trying. Our life was comfortable, predictable, or so I thought. The book club started in January. Lauren came home one evening and mentioned it casually over dinner. "Some of the girls from the clinic started a book club," she said, twirling pasta on her fork. "They meet Thursday nights. I think I'm going to join." "That's great," I said. "What are you reading?" She waved her hand. "Oh, I don't know yet. Something contemporary, I think. It'll be nice to get out of the house one night a week."
I didn't think anything of it. Lauren had always been social. She had friends from work, from yoga, from the neighborhood. A book club seemed perfectly normal. So every Thursday, she'd come home from work, change into something casual, and head out around 6:30. "Don't wait up," she'd say, kissing me on the cheek. "These things always run late." And they did. She'd roll in around 10:30, sometimes 11, smelling like wine and perfume, cheeks flushed. "How was it?" I'd ask. "Good," she'd say. "We talked more than we read, honestly." And that was it. Week after week, Thursday after Thursday. I never questioned it. Why would I? The first time I noticed something off was in late February. Lauren came home from book club and went straight to the shower. Not unusual, she liked to wash off the day before bed. But when she came out, I noticed her phone was face down on the nightstand. Lauren never put her phone face down. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, fine, just tired." She climbed into bed, turned away from me, and was asleep, or pretending to be, within minutes. The next morning, I woke up before her. Her phone was still on the nightstand, screen dark. I'm not proud of what I did next. I picked it up. It was locked, of course, but the lock screen showed a notification, a text from someone named Jenna. Last night was perfect. Same time next week? I stared at it. Jenna? That was one of the women from her book club. I'd met her once at a clinic holiday party. Blonde, bubbly, harmless. So why did that text make my stomach twist? I set the phone down and told myself I was being paranoid, but the feeling didn't go away. Over the next few weeks, I started paying closer attention. Lauren's Thursday routine never changed. She'd leave at 6:30, come home around 10:30 or 11. But little things were different. She started dressing nicer on Thursdays. Not obvious, just a better blouse, a little more makeup. She'd check her phone more, quick glances, then tucking it away when I walked into the room. And she started coming home happier. Not happy to see me, just happy, like she'd been somewhere that made her feel good. I told myself I was imagining things, but then I found the key cards. It was a Tuesday. I was looking for my car keys. I'd left them somewhere and couldn't remember where. Lauren's purse was on the kitchen counter, half open. I figured maybe I'd tossed them in there by accident. I reached in, no keys, but my hand brushed something plastic in the side pocket. I pulled it out. A hotel key card, white with the Hampton Inn logo. I frowned. We hadn't stayed at a hotel recently. Then I saw another one behind it. I pulled them both out. Same hotel, same logo. I held them up to the light and saw the room number printed on the sleeve, room 314. Both of them. My heart started pounding. I reached back into the pocket. 3 more cards, all Hampton Inn, all room 314. I laid them out on the counter like evidence. 5 key cards, same hotel, same room.
Then I noticed something else. On the back of each card, written in faint blue pen, was a date. March 7th, March 14th, March 21st, March 28th, April 4th. I pulled out my phone and opened the calendar. Every single date was a Thursday. I stood there for a long time, staring at those cards. My mind was racing, trying to find an innocent explanation. Maybe she was helping a friend. Maybe the book club met at the hotel. Maybe... No. 5 key cards, same room, every Thursday for over a month. There was no innocent explanation. I picked up my phone and dialed the Hampton Inn. Hampton Inn, how can I help you? Hi, I said, keeping my voice steady. I think I left something in room 314. Is that room available tonight? Typing sounds. Room 314 is reserved for tonight, sir. It's a standing weekly reservation. My chest tightened. Standing reservation? Yes, sir. Every Thursday evening. Same guest. Would you like me to leave a message for them? No, I said quickly. No message. Thank you. I hung up. Standing reservation. Every Thursday. For how long? I looked at the calendar again. Today was Thursday, April 11th, Lauren's book club night. I looked at the key cards in my hand and made a decision. Tonight, I was going to find out the truth. I spent the rest of the day in a fog. I went through the motions, emails, meetings, lunch, but my mind was somewhere else. At 5, Lauren texted me. Book club tonight. Don't wait up. Love you. I stared at those 2 words. Love you. Did she? Did she really? I typed back, have fun. Then I opened Google Maps and searched for the Hampton Inn at exit 47. 23 minutes from our house. I looked at the clock. It was 5:15. Lauren would leave around 6:30. She'd probably arrive at the hotel by 7, which meant I needed to be there first. At 6 o'clock, I told Lauren I was going to the gym. Okay, she said, barely looking up from her phone. Have a good workout. I grabbed my gym bag, empty except for a change of clothes, and walked out. But I didn't go to the gym. I drove to the Hampton Inn. The hotel was exactly what you'd expect: 3 stories, exterior hallways, a parking lot half full of cars. I parked in the back, away from the entrance, and waited. My hands were shaking, my heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. At 6:59, a silver Lexus pulled into the lot. Lauren's car. I watched her park near the entrance, check her phone, then get out. She was wearing jeans and a black blouse, hair down, makeup perfect. She didn't look like someone going to a book club. She looked like someone going on a date. I waited until she disappeared into the stairwell. Then I got out of my car and followed. Room 314 was on the 3rd floor, at the end of the hallway. I stood at the opposite end, partially hidden behind a vending machine, and watched. Lauren walked up to the door, pulled out a key card, and swiped it. The light turned green. She opened the door and stepped inside. The door closed behind her. I waited. 5 minutes, 10. My mind was screaming, go knock, confront her, end this. But I didn't move, because part of me still didn't want to believe it. Then, at 7:08, the door opened again. A man stepped out. Tall, mid-40s, dark hair, graying at the temples, expensive suit, no tie. He looked familiar, but I couldn't place him. He walked down the hallway, past me, and disappeared into the stairwell. I stood there, frozen. Then the door opened again. Lauren stepped out, looked both ways, and followed him. I didn't follow them. I walked straight to room 314 and knocked. No answer. I tried the handle. Locked. I stood there for a moment, breathing hard, then turned and walked back to my car. My phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. Book club running late. Probably won't be home until 11. Don't wait up. I stared at the message. Then I drove home. Lauren came home at 10:47. I was sitting on the couch, lights off, waiting. She walked in, saw me, and jumped. Jesus, Nathan, you scared me. How was book club? I asked. Good. We're reading Where the Crawdads Sing. It's really good. That's funny, I said, because that book came out in 2018. She frowned. So? So you've been in this book club for 3 months. You're telling me you're just now getting to a 6-year-old bestseller? Her face tightened. We read other things first. Like what? Nathan, why are you interrogating me? I stood up and pulled the key cards out of my pocket. I held them up. What are these? Her face went white. For a long moment, she didn't say anything. Then, where did you get those? Your purse. You went through my purse? Answer the question, Lauren. What are these? She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. It's not what you think. I laughed. It came out harsh, bitter. It's not what I think? You've been going to a hotel every Thursday for 3 months. Same room, standing reservation. So tell me, Lauren, what the hell is it? Tears started streaming down her face. Nathan, who is he? It's not, who is he? She flinched. Then, quietly, his name is David. David, I repeated. David who? She wiped her eyes. David Keller. My stomach dropped. David Keller, her boss, the owner of the clinic where she worked. I'd met him once at a company picnic. Tall, polished, confident. The kind of man who made you feel small just by standing next to him. Your boss, I said slowly. You've been sleeping with your boss. It's not like that. Then what is it like, Lauren? Explain it to me. She sank onto the couch, head in her hands. It started in January. We were working late one night and we just talked, really talked, about life, about dreams, about things I haven't felt in years. So you fucked him.
She looked up, eyes red. It wasn't about sex, Nathan. It was about feeling seen, feeling wanted. I want you. No, you don't, she said, voice breaking. You want the idea of me. You want the routine, but you don't see me. You haven't seen me in years. I stared at her.
So this is my fault? I'm not saying that. You're absolutely saying that. She stood up. Nathan, I'm not happy. I haven't been happy for a long time. And David, he makes me feel alive. Then why are you still here? She didn't answer. If you're so unhappy, if he's so great, why are you still coming home to me every night? She looked away. Because I don't know what I want. Well, let me make it easy for you, I said. I want a divorce. Her face crumpled. Nathan! No, I'm done. You don't get to have both. You don't get to keep me as your safety net while you screw your boss in a hotel room every Thursday. Please, can we just talk about this? We're done talking. I grabbed my keys and walked out. I drove. I didn't know where I was going. I just drove. Eventually, I ended up at a bar on the edge of town, the kind of place with dim lights, sticky floors, and a bartender who doesn't ask questions. I ordered a whiskey, then another. My phone buzzed. Lauren. Please come home. We need to talk. I turned off my phone. I didn't go home that night. I checked into a motel, not the Hampton Inn, a different one, and lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling. My mind kept replaying the conversation. It wasn't about sex. It was about feeling seen. Had I really been that blind? I thought about our marriage, the routine, the predictability. When was the last time we'd really talked? Not about bills or schedules, but about us. When was the last time I'd asked her how she was feeling, really feeling? I couldn't remember. But that didn't excuse what she'd done. You don't fix a marriage by cheating. You fix it by talking, by trying. She hadn't tried. She'd just left, emotionally at least. And now I was done. The next morning I called a lawyer. His name was Richard Moss. He came recommended by a guy at work who'd gone through a messy divorce a few years back. Tell me what happened, Richard said. I told him everything. The key cards, the hotel, the standing reservation, David Keller. Richard took notes, nodding occasionally. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Over the next 2 weeks, I moved out of the house and into a short-term rental. Lauren tried calling, texting, emailing. I didn't respond. Richard advised me to document everything. Keep records, stay calm. Don't give her ammunition, he said. Let her be the one who looks unstable. So I did. I went to work, I paid my bills, I lived my life, and I let Richard handle the rest. The divorce papers were served 3 weeks later. Lauren called me, sobbing. Nathan, please, can we just talk? I said, talk to my lawyer, and hung up.
But here's the thing. I wasn't just angry. I was curious, because something didn't add up. David Keller was married, happily, from what I'd heard. 2 kids, a big house in Myers Park. So why was he risking all that for an affair with my wife? And more importantly, did his wife know? I did some digging. David's wife was named Claire. She was a pediatrician, active in the community, PTA president, volunteer at the Children's Hospital. She had a public Facebook page. I scrolled through it. Photos of family vacations, school events, date nights with David. They looked happy, but so had Lauren and I. I kept scrolling. Then I saw something that made me stop. A post from 2 weeks ago. Thankful for my amazing husband who always makes time for us, even with his crazy work schedule. Date night at our favorite spot. The photo showed Claire and David at a restaurant. I zoomed in on the background, and my blood ran cold, because in the reflection of the window behind them, I could see the sign for the Hampton Inn. I sat there, staring at the photo, my mind racing. David wasn't taking Lauren to the hotel for an affair. He was taking her there because it was convenient. The hotel was halfway between the clinic and his house. He wasn't leaving his wife. He was fitting Lauren into his schedule. She was a Thursday night appointment. I called Richard. I need you to do something for me. What? I need you to find out if David Keller's wife knows about the affair. Why? Because if she doesn't, she deserves to. Richard was quiet for a moment. Nathan, I'm not sure that's a good idea. I don't care. Find out. It took Richard's investigator less than a week. Claire Keller had no idea. David had been covering his tracks perfectly. Separate credit card, cash payments for the hotel, a burner phone for texts. He was a pro. But he'd made one mistake. He'd used the clinic's parking lot to meet Lauren, and the clinic had security cameras. I sat in Richard's office, watching the footage. There was Lauren, getting into David's car, laughing, touching his arm. There was David, leaning in to kiss her before they drove off. It was all there, time-stamped, undeniable. "What do you want to do with this?" Richard asked. I thought about Claire, about her Facebook posts, about her kids. "Send it to her," I said. "Nathan, she deserves to know." Richard hesitated, then nodded. "Okay." The footage was sent to Claire Keller via a private investigator on a Friday afternoon. By Monday morning, David Keller's life had imploded. Claire filed for divorce. She took the kids, she froze their accounts, and she called the clinic's board of directors.
David was fired by Wednesday. Lauren called me hysterical. "Did you do this? Did you send that video to Claire?" "Yes." "Why? Why would you do that?" "Because she deserved to know the truth, just like I did. You ruined his life." "No, Lauren, he ruined his own life, and yours." She was crying so hard she could barely speak. "I lost my job, Nathan. David's gone. The clinic let me go. I have nothing." "You made your choice," I said. "Now you live with it." And I hung up. The divorce was finalized 2 months later. Lauren got the house. She couldn't afford it, but she insisted. I got my freedom. I moved into a small apartment downtown, started over, and for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. 6 months later, I was at a coffee shop when I saw her. Not Lauren, Claire. She was sitting alone, reading a book, a cup of tea in front of her. I almost walked past, but something made me stop. "Claire?" She looked up, recognized me. "Nathan!" "Mind if I sit?" She gestured to the empty chair. We sat in silence for a moment. Then she said, "Thank you." "For what?" "For telling me the truth. I know it wasn't easy." "It wasn't," I admitted, "but you deserved to know." She smiled sadly. "So did you." We talked for an hour about betrayal, about starting over, about the strange relief that comes from finally knowing the truth. When we left, she gave me her number. "If you ever want to grab coffee again," she said, "as friends." "I'd like that," I said. I don't know what the future holds, but I know this. I'm not the man I was 6 months ago. I'm not the man who ignored the signs, who lived in a comfortable routine and called it a marriage. I'm the man who found hotel key cards in his wife's purse and didn't look away. I'm the man who chose the truth even when it hurt. And I'm the man who's finally free. If this story hit you, comment, "I chose truth." If you've ever found something you weren't supposed to find, if you've ever had to decide between comfort and honesty, this one's for you. Hit subscribe for more stories about the courage it takes to face the truth, because sometimes the worst thing you can find isn't the evidence, it's the lie you've been telling yourself all along.